Okay. So here's the deal with King of Fighters 15 tomorrow, all right? All along the time that we've been talking about me playing this game, people have been under the impression that I should get it on PlayStation 5, okay? Why? Because people say that for fighting games, there's a bigger installed player base playing these games actively on the PlayStation consoles than there are on the Xbox consoles, okay? So essentially, if I get it on PS5 and I go to play the game online, there should be more competition available to play, all right? If there's more competition available to play, think of it this way. The comparison between when I play Street Fighter every week and I've tried playing the Anniversary Collection on the Xbox Series X versus the PS5. There's pros and cons. Let's talk about them. On the Xbox Series X, there's the ability to block trolls. If some dumb fuck tries to ruin the matches by coming in with a fucked up name or comes in and tries to crash a lobby, you can say, I never want to play them ever again. Block. And Xbox has this online capability. It gets rid of them. You never have to play them ever again. You'll never join a lobby. You'll never have to do a match against that player. They're considered blocked from your feed. Okay? And I actually have a brand new joystick for the Xbox Series X that I got around Christmas. A fan donated it, which is really awesome. And thank you to the fan who did that. And it allows me to play games at a very high level on the Xbox Series X because I've got a great controller for it. Okay? On the PlayStation 5 side of things, there's no ability to block trolls. So every time I try to play Street Fighter on there, they're following me, harassing me, and fucking with me. But there's way more players on the PS5 side of things. And so because of that, okay, because of that, whenever I play it, I usually get to play against a bigger variety of opponents and a bigger variety of matchups and competition. Essentially, if I'm playing on PS5, I get to do more variety of gameplay. If I'm playing on Xbox Series X, there's no trolls, but I might only play against 2 lobbies of people in a night, if that. Okay? So there's definitely pros and cons. And all along, I was saying, okay, I'm going to get this on PS5. All right? But then yesterday, Game Checker came on the pre-stream and dropped some knowledge that no one, I think, had been aware of because the game had just come out for the people who had paid extra to play it early on Monday. And there'd been technical experiments with the game, and finally, there was a determination about it. Okay? Here we go. Get ready. The PlayStation 5 version has the most input lag. I believe it's like over 5 frames of input lag, something like 90 milliseconds of delay. When you're pressing a button or when something happens in the game, there's more delay on PS5 than any other version. Second highest is PlayStation 4. Third highest, meaning pretty damn good, is actually the Xbox Series S and X versions of the game, which only has, I believe it was 3 frames of input lag or only like 50 milliseconds of delay. Of course, ultimately, the best one is PC. The PC Master Race wins again. If you're getting King of Fighters on PC, you're going to have almost no input lag. It's the least, it's the, you know, and most people are saying the competitive Street Fighter community, people who are actually going to play this game at a competitive level, are basically getting it on PC. In fact, this is what happened with Street Fighter V. When it first came out, there was insane amounts of input delay on consoles. Even after 2-3 years, they didn't really improve it that much. And people complain constantly this game is basically unplayable online at a competitive level. So all the competitive players bought the PC version, got high-end PCs, and played it on there to get good. So, am I going to be doing that? No, I can't do that. I don't have a high-end PC to play it on. If I played it on PC and tried to capture, it would be a nightmare. Everything would lag up and freeze up and chop, and it would just, I can't do that. Maybe one day, later this year, things will go a little better and I can get a better PC. I can't do it right now, okay? So I'm limited to a console version. So the way I see it is thus. All right? First of all, if you get it on PlayStation, okay, there's going to be way more players playing it. In fact, people have even said PS4 and PS5 versions of the game actually have cross-play. So if you buy a PS5 version, you're going to be playing people both on PS4 and PS5. Just think of the large player base available. Okay? You're not going to get that on Xbox. There's no Xbox One version. There's only Xbox Series S and X. So you're incredibly limited with the player base you're going to have. But the overall experience when you go to play the game will be better because it'll be way more responsive. Is it better to have a bigger player base overall or to have a more responsive game? I guess really it comes down to how many people are going to keep playing it. Because let's say, I'll just throw some random ass numbers out there. Let's say when you play it on PlayStation, you will have 10 to 20,000 people playing it at all times that you can jump into. That's ridiculously overinflated, I bet. But I'm just saying. Let's say you always have the option to play it online. There's no issues at all. You can always find an opponent. Not always the best connection. Sometimes it's laggy, and half the time when you play online, it feels like you're playing in molasses underwater because of the input lag. But at least you can get games, right? As opposed to when you play on Xbox, after a few weeks, the player base may die down, and there may not be as many people actively playing it online anymore. And I go to find matches, and it's a chore. And I really want to play this online. I want to have some competition. I can't find anyone. What's going on, right? But then when I get the matches, they run well. You see? If you want to know my true take on this, I don't think that there's an ultimate good answer. I think it's actually the lesser of two evils. All right? I've been there, done that with having the bigger player base. I've done that many times where I buy the version of the game where there's the bigger player base. I enjoy having a lot of competition, but my God, this is why, literally this is why, every time I play a fighting game, I complain about lag, and everyone's like, man, is every fighting game laggy? Yes. Yes, they are. They're all bad. There hasn't actually been a fighting game with great netcode and great online performance in ages. The best game I can tell you I've ever played fighting game online with the netcode was Pokken Tournament on the fucking Wii U. It was almost flawless with the exception of maybe a small handful of matches that you could tell how bad they lagged. Most matches were like instant, get a match, instantly play, no lag, everything you do right away. I don't know why. I really don't know why. But that was the one. Everything else, any other fighting game, it's so hit or miss. You'll play one match and your experience is amazing. Everything's coming out. It's fluid. It's a great competitive match because your two guys are going back and forth, pulling off your combos, your tricks. Amazing. Next match, can't even fucking move. Next match, oh, I attack. Oh, roll back. Oh, show you, roll back. Oh, hurricane, get roll back, roll back, roll back. Fuck. Why is there no consistency? Still today, right? Still today. So, that being said, I've been there, done that, experienced that. Okay, let me put it to you guys this way. All right? In the ideal world, I would get both versions. In the ideal world, I would just say, I'm going to buy both. And it doesn't matter because I own both. So I can play PlayStation. If I'm having a bad time and every match is laggy and it's frustrating, I could switch over and I could play on Xbox, right? But you're talking a huge investment. You're talking $70 for one version, $70 for the other version. Plus tax and all the bullshit. It's, you know what I mean? And who's to say that these games are going to be successful? I'm really, 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 really hoping for not another King of Fighters 14 situation where everyone thought the game would do well except for the graphics, which looked terrible. But outside of that, everyone was, oh, a brand new fighting game franchise. And I jumped on board and I bought it. Within 2 weeks, the game was dead. And no one was playing it. I was like, wow, we want to talk about utter frustration because I really liked the franchise and it died within weeks. Okay? So, I really don't think there's a good answer here. I don't even know what to do right now. In an ideal world, I would buy both. But as you guys know, and as I've told you guys many times, financially, things aren't great around here. A lot of the times I'm just making ends meet with tips. At the end of the week, I'm scrounging together the tips that I've raised to pay the stuff that I need to pay and everything. And I told you guys that, you know, coming up between King of Fighters, Horizon Forbidden West, and Elden Ring, and then more games coming up in March, that this is going to be a giant investment for me, and it is. It's me having to drop a lot of money in a short period of time, as opposed to, if you look at the last few months, I really didn't drop that much because it was a lot of legacy games and things that I was playing, or relatively inexpensive games, right? So, what I could say is thus, all right? If someone wants to step up and help out and be like, hey, Phil, I'll help you out. Here's some credits for PlayStation Network or Xbox Live, and I get some credits today for either network, I'll probably buy both. Seriously, I'll probably buy both versions. And that way I'll have both experiences. and we could test them both. But if I have to decide between the two, and it comes down to it, my personal desire is that I want to get it on Xbox Series X because I want the least input lag and I want to have the most fun playing it. But I have to feel like I have to weigh and balance that with the purposes of the stream. The purposes of these streams is not my overall personal enjoyment. It's putting out the most entertaining streams for you guys. And when you look at it factually, I think that it would be more entertaining to have a bigger player base and a more variety of players to play against than me just getting a better experience with less input lag. You will not see less input lag in the streams and videos I put out. You know what I'm saying? You won't. You'll see the same gameplay. It may be of a lesser reduced quality because I have more input lag on PlayStation 5, but you're going to see likely more players and more matchups right away. No frustration at not being able to find opponents, right? So, that's kind of the deal. I guess if it comes down to it by the end of today, if it's just me buying it outright, I'm going to get the PS5 version. Okay? But if someone did want to step up and help out and say, Phil, I want you to have the overall best experience here. You know, have some credits. Maybe you could get it on Xbox too or whatever. Then I'd be more than open to that as well. That would definitely help out. Okay? Or if you didn't want to get the credits, again, tips and stuff. Tips is how I pay for stuff. So if you tip me today and say, hey, Phil, you know, use this to go get a version of the game or whatever, that would be great. Okay? But for now, if I have to definitively choose for myself, and that's the situation, then it's got to be PS5. All right? As much as I want to play it on Series X, I want to use my new joystick. I want to have less input lag. I can't guarantee I'm going to have as many players on the Xbox as I'm going to have on the PlayStation. Okay? So that's my decision as of now. But let's see how today goes. Depending directly on how today goes, all right? And how, you know, let's see how tips do on both streams. Got 2 streams today. How do tips do on both streams? Does anyone maybe behind the scenes, you know, donate some credits so that I can get some games? You know, we'll see what happens, okay? And by the way, by no means, please, guys, by no means should you ever feel bad if you're in this situation. Like, man, I wish I could help Phil, but I can't. You don't have to say nothing. I hear you. It's not like that, all right? I'm playing the game no matter what. It's just, you know, it sucks that I'm in the life situation that I'm in. After, you know, a year ago, I haven't recovered yet from being kicked out of the Twitch Partner Program. I just haven't. And I'm still trying to get back on my feet in that regard. You know, tax season is upon us. Very soon, I'm going to be working on that and finding out what I owe to the government and all that bullshit again. And it's not a pretty sight, okay? It's just not. And it frustrates me that I'm in these situations, and I wish that I could say, hey, I want to buy 2 versions of the game for you guys, and I can't.